Hello, welcome. First bit of filming in the new workshop, studio, call it what you want. You've caught me here today sorting my brushes out because there's a thing with a sign writer. We love our brushes and sometimes we keep using ones that have had their day. What happens with a brush with a metal ferrule is they, over time, the ones around the edge tend to cut and you lose them. Some brushes will last years, some last a couple of months and they've gone off the boil. If you're using them, you know, they go. These ones are put all in that pot because if you look closely, they are all lost around the edge, and then they get a bit limp and they don't perform properly. But there's always that time you need a tiny little bit of line you want to do, and you think, I'll use that one. So I've got a whole nother pot back in Maidenhead that both me and Aaron, when a brush died, we put it in there. We're not sure why we kept them, but you get a bit sort of funny about your brushes. Oh, I do anyway. And you love your brushes. You take them, you look after them. So yeah, having a bit of a spring clean in Christmas, New Year's Eve. We're filming this on New Year's Eve. So we're gonna have a walk around and I'm gonna show you the workshop. So here I'm stood in front of, what do we call it? The Wall of Fame, the Wonder Wall, whatever we want. So these are the pieces I've collected and mixed in with bits from the fair, mixed in bits I've done because it would have been a bit, there would have been a few gaps and I haven't bought that much stuff. Who knows, I'll buy more in the future. Along the bottom, all the ones just above the bottom are actually all of Stan's work. I thought that'd be a nice touch, start at the bottom and work your way up. I've got a piece there, that racing car, which I've made replicas of, that was actually painted by my father. The purple bit above it and that bit there, on a really rough board, but done by David Kinniston, who's one of my favourite writers. We've got pieces here, a friend of mine, that American piggy down in the alphabet below, was done by Mike Meyer, who actually came and did my course. He teaches out in America himself, and he's got a completely different style to how I paint, which is great. It'd be boring if we were all the same. He doesn't use a mold stick, but he also doesn't like tape, and I don't like tape. I'm thinking about making a sign that says, "Tape police operate in this area." And I annoy lots of sign writers because they always bang on about it, but I feel everyone should learn without tape. If you go on to choose to use it, that's up to you, but you must learn without it so you can get your corners. But some people are obsessed with it, they do everything with tape. The other alphabets, you've got Stan's one there, which actually I've done a few examples of, practicing casual myself. Casual is not my go-to, and I've done a few of those and sold a few as well. Underneath that it says AD 2013, that was someone who did my course. They'd learnt to sign write, how can I put it, the arse went out of the business and they stopped doing it, but came back to did my course and just picked that up, had that in their sort of, you know, like riding a bike, it just came back to it. Thomas, Momo Science, he's done that one, a lovely bit of Roman, and the yellow one, I love to have that example there to point out to people, a beautiful example of Roman done by Mick Pollard, who's a great writer. And just various examples of stuff either I've painted or Stan's painted or other things. Even got the Mr. and Mrs. Carter, 22nd November 2014, which was painted for I painted for our wedding day, so over 10 years ago. So lots of memories, lots of inspiration, because people often, what colour should I paint my sign? Well, here you go, there's lots to look at. Most of the walls either side are going to end up with stuff I've painted to sell, because the next thing I'm going to tell you about, and it's not on our website, but I'm going to tell you it's going to happen. Hopefully in March, I'm going to have what I'm going to be calling the comeback course, which is been inspired from the TV program I've been involved with, Make It a Market, where Lisa and Sam were on the program wanting to be sign writers. I was their mentor. So it's further than the 5-day course. So I'll be holding 3-day events. Charge for 2, Thursday, Friday. The Saturday will be free, but the Saturday will be open to the public. Now what I hope is the beauty of this, that means if you're interested, take a trip to Street on the Saturday when I'll have an open day. Come and see people that are new to it, and I'll have friends who'll come along who are seasoned sign writers. I want to promote it. I want people to get involved. I want this tradition to carry on into the future beyond when I'm here. So I love it, I'm dead excited, but the comeback course, the idea being, it's just for people that have done the 5-day course. Come back. Because I've got a big space, you might say, well actually, I've got a sign this big, could I bring that? You might say, I've got a vehicle, well, I can't get more than one vehicle in, but someone might be first in and go, well, I'm doing this vehicle, could you help me with it? it's taking people further. It's re-showing people things they might have forgotten, because often people have good intent of, I've done the course, I'm going to go away and do it, but life gets in the way. They have children, they have jobs. But here's, take 3 days off, come back, there's plenty of places, Strange Street, Somerset's absolutely wonderful, and have another little break, have another little go. So let's take a little walk around the workshop. I've got my trike here. This is going to get rebranded with Street. Unfortunately, on the last day of my shop, I stuck some things, or last few days, and the sellotape pulled the paint off. So there you go. Don't use tape, kids. That'll teach me. But the shop was fun. I really enjoyed it. These are 2 signs that used to be on my Nissan pickup either side on the body. Of most of these up there, I bought or painted or from the fair. Like for instance, this I'm going to show you this. This is exciting. You'll like this. Watch that. Yay! We had this Dodge and Pay box that was on a 4-wheel trailer that was the scariest thing to tow, and it was really nicely coach built, and that was where my dad used to run the Dodge, and obviously later on me and my brothers we used to run it. But that's next to there with Dad's artwork above it, and to the right is a bit of Stan's work, although the winged wheel Dad would have done. Every sign's got a story to tell. Just to the right there, I digress, but straight out of the paint pot, that one there was done by Hannah Sunny Whaler, someone who did my course, and she's fantastic. I love her work, I admire her work, I look up to her. She's gone on to do great things. This afternoon tea served here, that was a bit standard on a signwriting Sunday in the last few months. Well, I've sort of nabbed it and put it on the wall. I mean, he's in his late 80s, it's just incredible. That's a bit standard with my favourite spelling mistake on it. You'll have to come to the course and see that bit. These are a couple of bits that were done on a letterheads meet, this one in 2018. So a letterheads is where people, signwriters will get together and paint and then auction off the signs, or just paint stuff, just talking to your own, if you like, your own kind. That was a bit of ropey lettering I did, just to put outside the shop, so don't dwell on that too much. Up there is a lovely bit by Ginny Barlow, who does a lot of canal boat work, so that's a really nice example to have on there. And oh hey, she's made it. Lisa, who's on the programme I was talking about, she gave me that for Christmas, but I think we're supposed to say oh hey. I'm not sure, she'll have to do that in impersonation. 2 pillars here, vintage pieces from a fairground. It sounds awful, I'm going to cut them down, but actually when we first had them they were that height. I extended them to do my first ever freak show. No, but that's for another day. So I was actually thinking of cutting them down and putting them under there as like when you walk in you see them. These were given to me by a friend, and they say smarts, the best, or I'm not sure what they say. And we're thinking of putting lights back in it and just having those along the wall. They're not the best, it's not the best artwork, but they're charming. This is the Mighty Mall. That'd be a great name for a park, wouldn't it? The Mighty Mall. I just made that for a laugh. So the intention is, along the back there is going to have a long, huge trestle in case I get a really long sign. But also, the idea is I make it in metal, it'll be probably 4 or 5 foot. And I can put signs along there with magnets. So let's just say I get a lot of repeat work of 10, 20 signs. I just put them on there, I just move, paint, doing the same colour. It makes it more efficient and keep moving it onto a trestle. That's the idea there. Vehicles could go in here. It might be sometimes I do courses, I've got vehicles on the go. People come to a signwriting Saturday, it's different every time. So they could come and see stuff, ask questions, and just see it happening. These are the 2 bikes that were dotted around wells right beside the shop, and numerous A boards. These I want to put boards on here so we can have, basically I paint stuff, I sit it on there, it will sell one day, but it's there for the course. So each time people come back, it's always going to change, it's going to be fluid. These I might leave that one there to work on so I can do bigger stuff, but I've always been restricted because of the size of my building to small signs, just because it was 30 foot by 20 foot, where of course this is huge. So people can see me do bigger stuff as well, and definitely on the the comeback course is the idea that I can be doing giant stuff and people can, you know, teach people about how would you do big stuff, how would you scale it up if you were doing a vehicle this big. Another thing I'm thinking of is actually making the word shadow in 3-dimensional. The idea is I'm going to have a spotlight under here, turn the lights off, and people could actually see me creating the shadow in a dark environment. So we've got the toilet there, which has got disabled access. This looks like a bomb's gone off because, well, it's a mess. The kitchen, we just said granite measured for, and we've got the urn there, we're going to have a tap above it, full of everything. And we're going to have a hand cleaning station here, so people clean their hands there before they use either the toilet or the kitchen. Right, let's go upstairs. Now, over here, these are the 2 book covers. This is a truly awful bit of sign writing that I did, I'm gonna say 14, I could have been 13, and this was me pestering my dad. My dad wasn't a sign writer, he was a painter, so he had the stuff. I don't even think I had a sign writing brush. I think he just gave me a pointy brush and said, yeah, I'll do that, so you'll shut up and stop badgering me. And obviously I painted that and I've kept it ever since. I'm gonna put a plaque underneath. This might be pretentious, I don't know, but I think it will give people a laugh. I'm gonna put age 14. And this one, that's when I started my apprenticeship. These were the ones my dad gave me 50p for, and I had to do about 60 of them. And I'm going to put age 17. And under this one, I'll put age 45. And this one, I'll put age 48. And hopefully that makes people realise you don't start being able to do this. If you're enthusiastic, you start being able to do this. But then when you're shown properly, you make progress. And then when you do it, for hours and tens of thousands of hours, you can do this. But I don't want that to be too daunting. The point is you get better along the way, but you have to practice. But it really helps if you've got someone showing you the right way to do it in the first place. Because I don't know, let's say stonemasonry, I'm sure if I did it for long enough I could carve stuff. Where would I start? I wouldn't know. I do know where to start with sign writing. I was lucky enough to learn when I was 17. I've taught so many people, so I know the quick route to speed up the process of learning. So I do appreciate some people want to just scratch about themselves, but I obviously get biased if I want people to come and do my course because I charge people to do it. But it's like, oh please, help yourself. We'll have a little walk upstairs. Don't forget people, my books, my stuff, not available on Amazon. A nice little piece there that Mike Meyer did. So, hey Joby, thank you. This is when he did my course. Hey, life's a mirror, it reflects all you do, Joby. Look at it smiling, it smiles back at you. Thank you, never use tape. He's a man of my own heart. But look how small that writing is. It's fabulous. I don't like stuff that small. Here's a bin, the most expensive bin you could possibly buy. So this isn't how it's going to be up here. This is to get us open up and running in January. So we've got a lot of the originals here, which I had display on the shop, and then the prints will be on show as well as they come. So these aren't for sale. They're to show the original artwork I did to make the prints, which I sell on the website. Still got my hot fuzz thing and a swan. If you know, you know. Up here, sign writing supplies, individual brushes, china graphs, dippers, brilliant cut mirrors, lining brushes, various posters either from the fair or sign writing. These are all a £5. To keep it simple, other than this one, which is limited to 500 and they're 48 quid. They're the collector's ones, you put those in a frame. These ones, do what you like with, you can frame them, plenty of people do. And there's various ones we made there, especially Scarlett designed these, and they were just sold for people to buy as a collector's item, reflecting the rides, and I think they're rather lovely. Some of them were actually posters that were made, and these are available on these on Carter's or these on mine, I don't know. Go to cartersteamfair.co.uk and go to Joby Carter. You'll find them on one of them. I think they're on Carter's. So these are actual posters we used to put up in shops to advertise whatever year that was. We've got jigsaws. Sold loads at Christmas. This one is a word search, so look on my website for that one. Even got my spelling mistake because I spelled palette wrong. So that was supposed to be an E in my head to say no tape, but now it says no tap. So hope you like that. A couple of the prints there in frames. Postcards, loads of postcards down there. Signs I painted too. When I had the shop in Wales, I had to keep making new stock because I was selling it. And I was going for stuff on a much lower price point. So that's not on the website because of the faff I put on the website. So if people come to one of the open days, there's gonna be stuff for sale what I've either painted before to make stock, or while I was there, like this one, obviously there's a lot more work in that. There was that one, hence the price difference. But I sold a few homes. I sold the word weirdo 3 times, different signs. People like the word weirdo. This is a whole other thing I'll be posting about soon. Why have I written the wrong sign right? It's got a bit of air of Wallace and Gromit to it, hasn't it? Because kind of, it was interesting. I did a few little jobs for people. It made me realise what I do want to do and what I don't want to do. If someone comes to me and they know exactly what they want, I'm probably the wrong sign writer. If they've got a graphic designer to have designed it for, I'm definitely the wrong sign writer. Modern vehicles, probably the wrong sign writer. However, if you come to me because you like what I do and you'll give me you just say the size and the wording and let me get on with it, then I'm the right sign writer. If you've got a vintage vehicle and you've got an old photo of what it looked like in black and white 100 years ago, definitely the right person to do the job. If you want a cheap sign, wrong person. In fact, I'm likely to have, we start at 500 quid, because you can put as much work into someone who wants a house sign that they think they're going to get for 100 quid as you can put into someone who wants a complete steam engine done. I'd much rather spend my time teaching people and potentially creating new books, creating artwork that I can turn into prints, creating artwork that I can sell, kind of doing my own thing. But yeah, and of course I've spent years painting the fair. Now in actual fact, wherever possible, if I could find something original, let's just take the Ark for instance. I found all the original designs but it was still on there, but I stripped the paint off and found what it should look like. I copied it exactly where I could. Not a problem with that. In fact, I think the best way to do it, I'm happy to copy someone else's work as long as they're dead. So if you've had a graphic designer design something, I'm not going to do it. But don't kill them so that I will, please. Yeah, that's probably a good way of looking at it. So ultimately, if you want me to paint you a sign, come to me because you like what I do and you're going to get the best out of me. And that's the same for most sign writers, to be honest. But there are people, these are bread and butter, you know, painting whatever someone else has designed. They're quite happy and that's a job in itself, and that's great, but just no, not for me. I've decided, can't be bothered. So just a little bit of paint for those that come on the courses. Now we are going to try and make it so we can send the paint out this year. We're not in a position you have to go straight to Craftmaster, but it's a pain if you like my colours, because there's various things in here like octopus blue, dodging pink, swanny pink. There's at least 10, you can only get them from me, so bear with, or come and see me and you can buy some here. We've also got all of these, you know, we've got pounce, powder, pound pads, pots of grease. Yeah, up here we've got this is a new thing. I didn't have this here, a bit of a chill out area where people come up with various sign writing books. People want a break from painting or at lunchtime, just come up here, sit here, read some books and take a bit of break. Because one thing when I teach the courses, people get a bit overwhelmed because there's so much you've got to learn in still a short period of time. 5 days, I'd have more if I could. And of course that's the idea of the comeback courses. You can come back if you want to learn more. But yeah, I always say to people, I warn people, I say, you're going to be knackered after the first day. You are going to be tired. You are taking in a lot of information. And they don't believe it, and they come along and go, oh my God, I'm knackered. If you just sat down at the table, there's so much to learn about drawing letters. So, bit of a chill out area, take 5 if it's all getting a bit much to do. Ultimately, this has been, it's being designed as a place people can come, be it from all around the world, specifically for teaching people. I'm very passionate about it, I hope you can tell, and long may the interest in sign writing continue. If it doesn't, I'll just take on doing lots of odd jobs for people, hopefully old interesting stuff. I'm happy either way, as long as I've got a paintbrush in my hand.